President-elect Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, under the direction of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, isn't that just a great sentence in and of itself, is getting some advice on ways to cut spending. The nonprofit Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget suggests, boy, they're busy, suggests that $1.4 trillion can be saved just by reversing some of Biden's executive actions. Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn is at the White House with more. Hillary.
Hi, Tammy. Well, the Department of Government Efficiency through Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have a goal of $2 trillion in cuts. So these ideas from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget pretty much come close to that with their estimate of $1.4 trillion. Here's ways that they say they could save money by reversing some of President Biden's executive actions. By reversing the student loan handout, they could save up to $550 billion. Reversing some health care executive actions, $385 billion. And reversing vehicle carbon emissions rules and SNAP food stamp program changes, that could save close to $300 billion. But ultimately, they need Congress to be on the same page. So Ramaswamy and Musk are going to Capitol Hill to meet with Republicans to try to get them on the same page, to work with them to help with their goal of cutting $2 trillion in federal spending.
I think having people that bring a business mindset, having been a small business owner, bringing that business mindset into Congress, looking at agencies, I think can be a very effective strategy. So having Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, both individuals who have started companies, grown companies, we're looking forward to working with both Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy on making government both efficient and effective.
Most people spent Thanksgiving Day carving a turkey, but Vivek Ramaswamy spent Thanksgiving brushing up on ways to carve up the size of the government, posting this picture of some light beach reading, suggestions from the Congressional Budget Office on how to cut spending. The CBO in these reports warning that if we do nothing, quote, federal debt held by the public would rise to 110% of GDP at the end of 2032, reaching 185% of GDP by 2052. They say debt that is high and rising as a percentage of GDP could slow economic growth, raise interest payments to foreign holders of U.S. debt, and heighten the risk of a fiscal crisis. So not a lot of time to get this done. And the president-elect, Trump, has given DOGE until July 4th of 2026 to get these cuts in place. Musk says that's not going to be a problem because they're going to be using AI to help sort through where money is being wasted. Tammy?
Oh, boy, that sounds very exciting, doesn't it, Hillary? It's going to be a fun year for people like you and me.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I thought immediately, Kara, that stating a number like $2 trillion, it's like monopoly money. Don't state a number because maybe it's $20 trillion. And you heard that they can get to 1.4 just by reversing these executive actions. What about the Department of Education as a whole? Trump says he wants to cut it. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, $300 million to progressive groups, at least, as an example. Planned Parenthood gets $50 million a year of taxpayer dollars. When you start looking at the details, it's really endless about how much we can cut, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's like the head of Argentina now. Gone, yes. Gone, cut. Let's do it. Because the government has a massive waste, fraud, and abuse problem. I should know. I worked for the government for almost 10 years. And we understand the Pentagon, they just failed their 7th audit. So I'm very glad that the best business minds of our time are actually in there doing things. And I think the best thing about DOGE so far is the transparency idea. So we now know, you've probably seen the tweets, grants for underwater basket weaving, grants for the study of random things that nobody actually cares about. That is where our money is going. You mentioned the Department of Education. Yeah, sure, really happy with cutting it. But look what happened in COVID when parents were actually given insight into what these schools were teaching. Transparency, sunlight is the best disinfectant. I think this is going to work. And monopoly money, the government's been playing with it for too long. So the gravy train's over, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Dr. Nicole, people get nervous when they hear about money being cut. Let's say from medical situations, Social Security, and yet it's not. Spending is one thing, but if you're spending on shrimps on a treadmill, it's money that's lost. If you're really being efficient, where money is spent, where it can do the most good, and that's true also when it comes to health care and well-being.
Right. So I was looking at the list where they were talking about cutting, and one was silly science projects. And I'm like, oh, that's probably some of my people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So first of all, we have to know that the United States, we continue to dominance in higher education, and it is a huge economic advantage for the United States. That being said, the federal government in 2022, those last numbers I saw, spent about $54 billion on university research and development. The HHS alone provided over 50% of that money. Now, year after year, mind you, I work for one of the largest academic centers here in the country, so these are my people. Year after year, the estimates are about 85% of research dollars go to waste. Not in the waste that people are just blowing money for not doing anything, but it's unpublished research. It's research that has bias or is not statistically significant, so you can't really do anything with it. So I absolutely think
Busy
that
work.
the people who are now being put into Make America Healthy Again are going to be looking at a lot of these grants and seeing what is necessary, what's actually going to do a benefit. Marty McCary and I worked on a lot of papers together. I know that he has a good research-oriented mind, Dr. Bhattacharya as well. So they're going to certainly be trimming the fat when it comes to some of this wasteful spending.
And that means money that is spent is really going to get something done. I think we have to remember that. Joe.
This is an 80-20 issue, right? So if you're a Republican in Congress, do you really want to oppose cutting spending? Because a lot of Democrats will agree with that as well. People want their government to be run like their households. Don't spend what you don't have. Don't buy what you don't need. So this is something that is very exciting because on day one, we will see Donald Trump, I would imagine, reverse almost every Biden executive action. And if we could save billions upon billions of dollars without even Congress getting involved from the onset, that's going to give momentum where I think not one Republican is going to cross Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy on this because they're going to get primaried and they're probably going to be out of government. Because remember, Congress is every 2 years, not every 6 like the Senate.
Well, and we are, I think, Molly, at a point where the spending and the debt and the interest on the debt, and Elon keeps saying we're heading toward bankruptcy, and then everything begins to collapse. Isn't that kind of motivation in and of itself?
Yeah, well, Musk and Ramaswamy have talked about their North Star in this project being the U.S. Constitution. So I think it's smart that they're going to Washington, going to Congress, talking to the people that are going to be moving those dollars around. Carrie, you've talked a lot about the international amount of money we're sending overseas in the course of the conversation we've had thus far in the show. That's something they'll be looking at, but also the transparency issue. So as they move forward with this project and they're talking about what they're doing and what they're cutting, the American people will be able to have a voice in that and say, we don't want that cut. And that could change potentially elections down the road. But the people in those seats will have a say and be able to help in this. In Iowa, Joni Ernst is going to be forming the new Senate Doge Caucus. So there's some leaders out there that are already going to be working on this.
Good. And I think it's about translating this idea that spending more money doesn't mean better, right? It's about being efficient. You know, the Department of Government efficiency, it's not about just cutting it down. All right. Excellent. Great job, everyone. Thank you.